Tov, everyone. It is Wednesday night. It is 8 p.m. here on the east side of the United States, here in the diaspora. This is the House of Seven Beggars. Therefore, it must be the Torah study with Rabbi and Reb Reuven. Good to have you here this evening. So far in the chat room, we have one person in the chat room, but we do have a number of people who are in the background watching. So, no sound, no sound. I got sound on my end. Don't know what to tell you, Donald. But if anybody else is there watching, if you would come into the chat room and let me know if the sound is coming through, because it shows that it's feeding through on my end. So, okay, well, we'll just give it a minute and see if okay, gotcha. Okay, so the last time we were here, of course, we were off last week because of my wife being in the hospital, and she is home and has pretty well recovered at this point. So we are going to pick up where we left off, which, of course, is the... Oh, well, before I do that, as we have been doing on the broadcast, we've been featuring one of Rabbi Moshe Steinerman's books from his I Love Torah series. Tonight we will be featuring Kavanot Halev, Meditations of the Heart. And just like all the rest of them, we highly recommend these books to you. They're wonderful books. And Rabbi Steinerman is making them available at cost. So you can go to Amazon and just put in I Love Torah series, and that'll get you all the books. And like I said, he's making them available at cost, so the cost is only $7 a book, which is really, really, really reasonable. And you can, if you can't afford the $7, then you always have the option of getting it on the Kindle, and you can get it on the Kindle for, I think it's 99 cents. So, highly recommended. And after the break, we will show the book again. Okay, so well, at least Donald is back with us. His sound is working. So let's see who we have with us. We have Donald, of course. Marshall is with us. Susan is with us, and we have a number of people who are watching in the background. Not everybody wants to be in the chat room, but we appreciate you being here anyway. Appreciate everybody who's here. Everybody's welcome. So, as I said, we left off on chapter 48. We're in the Sefer Bereshit, the book of Genesis. We left off at chapter 48, verse 10, which is where we will pick it up this evening. So, of course, we start with the blessing for the study of Torah. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'sok b'divrei Torah. Okay, and we are off. So, put this over here so I don't lose it. So, verse 10, there is no commentary on verse 10, so we will go from verse 10 into verse 11. Now Yisrael's eyes were heavy with age. He could not see, so he brought them, this is Yosef and his two sons, Menashe and Ephraim. He could not see, so he brought them near to him, and he kissed them and hugged them. Verse 11, Yisrael said to Yosef, I did not imagine seeing your face, and here God has shown me even your offspring. So Rashi goes on to say here, I did not imagine. My heart did not fill me, i.e., I did not dare to think the thought that I would see your face again. The word fililti denotes thinking, like in produce an idea, do some thinking. Okay, so that comes from Isaiah. Okay. And that is all the commentary on there. I'm kind of surprised that Rashi doesn't have more to say on that. But because actually, Onkelos does actually have something. But anyway, so we go to verse 12. Yosef, the further commentary on this, well, let's see if there is some further commentary on this. Yes, there is. The text follows the early printed edition. Many contemporary editions follow the Venice edition, which begins a new comment here with Philippi as a heading. Okay, so good for the Venice edition, I guess. And okay, so as it regards and thus to bless them, the further commentary says it does not mean that Yosef removed them from Yaakov's knees after Yaakov had blessed them, as Ibn Ezra interprets the verse. Okay. And then Rashi goes on to say, okay, so we're on to verse 12. I kind of got ahead of myself here. Okay, so verse 12, Yosef removed them from his knees and prostrated face down to the ground. Rashi says, Yosef then removed them. After Yaakov had kissed them, Yosef removed them from his knees in order to position this one, Menashe, to the right of Yaakov, and this one, Ephraim, to the left, so that Yaakov would be able to rest his hands upon them and thus to bless them. Okay, and that's where the further commentary says that it does not mean that Yosef removed them from Yaakov's knee after Yaakov blessed them. Rashi goes on to say, and he prostrated himself face down. He backed away from before his father. Further commentary on this one says, prostration is also, often an expression of thanks. We would thus have expected Yosef to bow after Yaakov blessed his sons, not before. Rashi explains that here, prostration was a gesture of respect rather than of thanks. Okay, subtleties. Verse 13. I just want to see if anybody else has joined us. Okay. Yosef took the two of them, Ephraim with his right hand to Israel's left, and Menashe with his left to Israel's right, and he drew close to him. Rashi goes to say, Ephraim to his right, to Israel's left. One who comes towards his friend, his right is opposite his friend's left. Yosef intended that the firstborn should be properly prepared for the blessing. And again, such as when we bow at the Amidah or the Tefillah or the Shmoneh Esrei, we bow to the left and so on, to the right and then to the left. Okay, so the further commentary on this one says that um, many editions relate miyuman, which can be translated either to the right or as a synonym of mizuman. Make sure I got that right. Mizuman. Okay. As it regards for properly prepared for the blessing, Yosef should have placed his firstborn Menashe in the more honored position at his right. Yaakov's right. Explains that Yosef put Ephraim at his right so that Menashe would be at Yaakov's put at Yaakov's right for the blessing. Okay, verse 14. Which is here somewhere. But Yisrael extended his right hand and laid it on Ephraim's head, though he was the younger, and his left hand on Menashe's head. So he actually had to cross his hands over to do that. The verse goes on. He moved his hands with intelligence, for Menashe was the firstborn. Rashi goes on to say here that he moved his hands with intelligence. This is to be understood as Targum Onkelos renders it, he made his hands wise, with intelligence and wisdom. He made his hands intelligent for this purpose, and he acted deliberately. For he was aware that Menashe was the firstborn. Yet, nonetheless, he did not place his right hand upon him. Verse 15, there is no commentary on here, so we go from 15 to 16. 15, he blessed Yosef and he said, O God, before whom my forefathers Abraham and Yitzhak walked, God who shepherds me from my inception until this day. Verse 16, may the angels who redeem me from all evil bless the lads, and may my name be declared upon them, the names of my forefathers Abraham and Isaac, and may they reproduce abundantly like fish within the land. Okay. Again, there is no commentary on 15, so the commentary on 16 says, the angel who redeems me, the angel who is regularly sent to me in my distress. Like the matter about which has been said, and an angel of God said to me in a dream, Yaakov, etc., I am the God of Beit El. Rashi goes on to say, may the angel who redeems me from all evil bless the lads being Menashe and Ephraim. And may they reproduce like these fish that proliferate and become numerous, and the evil eye has no effect on them. So, the further commentary on this one says that, is there further commentary on here? Yes, there is. Okay, so we're going to back up 14. The further commentary on 14 with regard to moved his hands with intelligence. The further commentary is, he moved his hands with intelligence, for Menashe was the firstborn, encourages, if Yaakov put his right hand upon Ephraim, although Menashe was the firstborn, it would seem that he made an error in the movement of his hands. Rashi explains that for Menashe was the firstborn means that Yaakov was aware that Menashe was the firstborn. The verse thus brings it as proof that he moved his hands with intelligence. That is, he acted deliberately. Okay, with regards to the angel who regularly sent to me in my distress, Hagoel Oti does not mean who is redeeming me. Yaakov did not mean that he was in the process of being redeemed. And as it regards, I am the God of Beit El. Above in 31:11 through 13, Rashi cites the latter part of the passage, I am the God of Beit El, because it is in these words that the angel indicated that he was coming to Yaakov at his time of distress in fulfillment of the promise God made to him in Beit El as he was leaving. I will guard you wherever you go. As it regards the medieval angel who redeems us from all evil, bless the lads, Menashe and Ephraim. May the angel, bless the lads, is part of a statement which began, he blessed Yosef. Furthermore, the blessing of Ephraim and Menashe does not begin until verse 20. So he blessed them. We might thus have thought that the lads refers here to the sons of Yosef other than Menashe and Ephraim. Rashi thus says, not so, bless these lads as part of the blessing of Yosef. Okay. Moving on, as far as may they reproduce like the fish, from Bereshit Rabbah 97.3 and Tractate Berachot, folio 20a, Vidgu is the only example of the verb Dalet Gimel in the Torah. It's the only time it appears as a verb. This verse uses it rather than the more familiar Vayifru or Vayirbu to indicate a comparison to fish. And then it says refer to another page back a ways, note 4 for the discussion about the evil eye. Okay, so we move on to verse 17. Yosef saw that his father was placing his right hand on Ephraim's head, and it displeased him. So he supported his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head to Menashe's head. And I'm sure Rashi is going to actually comment on this, and it bears to be stated that the manner in which he did it is actually important. Because he didn't just grab his father's hand and move it. He says he supported it, which meant that he put his hand under that and lifted it up. It's a much more respectful way of doing it. So, the further commentary on this one says that he supported his father's hand. He raised it from upon his son's head and supported it with his hands. Okay, so the further commentary says he supported his father's hand to remove it seems to be a contradiction in terms, for supporting a hand implies keeping it firmly in place rather than removing it. Rashi explains that Yosef's support of his father's hand only after he had lifted it from Ephraim's head. Okay, so he lifts it from his head and supports it. Okay. No commentary on verse 18, so we'll go from 18 to 19. 18, and Yosef said to his father, not so, father, for this is the firstborn. Place your right hand on his head. You would think Rashi would have something to say about this, but he doesn't. So, verse 19, but his father refused, saying, I know, my son, I know he too will become a people, and he too will become great. However, his younger brother shall become greater than he, and his offspring's fame will fill the nations. Okay. So the further commentary on this one says, I know, my son, that he is the firstborn, and he too will become a people and will become great. For Gideon is destined to come from him, through whom the Holy One, blessed is he, will perform miracles. Rashi goes on to say, however, his younger brother shall become greater than he. For Yehoshua is destined to come forth from him, Joshua, who will apportion the land and teach Torah to Israel. Continuing on, Rashi says, and his offspring's fame will fill the nations. The entire world it will be filled when his reputation and name go forth. When he will make the sun stand still at Gibeon, and the moon stand still in the valley of Ajalon. Ayalon. Okay, so we've got a lot of further commentary on here. So, with regards to that he is the firstborn, Rashi points out that the second I know refers to the point made previously by Yosef, that Menashe is the firstborn, not to what follows that will become a people. Related to okay. Oh, there it is. And he too will become a people. Although many contemporary editions omit the vav from the vagam and make the phrase gamhu yeh la'am into the heading of a new comment. Virtually all the early printed editions have nagam. Nagam or nagam? Wait a minute. Nagam. And only one unbroken unbroken comment. According to the reading of the verse, rejected by Rashi, Yidati gam hu would have been read, I know that he too. By changing gam of the verse to vagam, and he too, stresses that gam hu in the beginning of the new phrase, not connected to Yidati. Okay. As it regards, and he too will perform miracles, Gibeon, with the force of only 300 men, wiped out the Midianite armies, more than one, of 135,000 soldiers. Okay, and I don't want to get on my soapbox again, but I am going to get on my soapbox again and say this is the stuff we need to teach our children. Stop teaching them that these were shrinking violets and, always put upon and stuff like this. These were a mighty people. Your ancestors were feared, and they were mighty. But they were able to mitigate that mightiness, that aggressiveness they were able to mitigate it because of the Torah. Okay, moving on. Who will, Yahushua who will apportion the land to teach the Torah to Israel. That just the only further comment refers back to Huma 6. Okay, and his offerings will fill the nations. Ayalon. With regard to the valley of Ayalon, it says, see Yahushua there, or Yahushua 10:14, and Rashi there. This blessing does not refer to numerous population, for Ephraim was no more numerous than any other tribe. Okay, so we move on to... Donald, you're right. But look at the way that that children are being taught in and outside of Eretz Israel, or outside of the state of Israel, I should say. See how especially here in the United States, how children are taught about our patriarchs and matriarchs. Because I taught in a Hebrew school for a number of years, and I taught all the way from third grade, I think it was, from third grade all the way up to ninth grade, and I saw it. I saw the way that the kids were being taught. And they weren't taught any of this stuff. Who wants to be a Jew when all they hear about is we were slaves in Egypt, and Egypt was, terrible to us, and we had to wait for God to, take care of us, and all this other. Yes, God took care of us, but we had to merit it. Okay, so, just to be clear. Okay. Okay, so we'll move on here to verse 20. Verse 20, so he blessed them that day, saying, by you shall Israel bless, saying, may God make you like Ephraim and like Manasseh. He put Ephraim before Manasseh. Okay, hence why when we bless the children, that's exactly what we say, and that's what we do here at the House of Seven Beggars when we start our Kabbalah service. Before we actually start the Kabbalah and Mariv service, that's the first thing we do, is we do the blessing for the children. And this is the exact blessing that we actually do. Okay. So, further commentary on this one says, by you shall Israel bless. This means one who comes to bless his sons will bless them by their blessing. And the word limor implies that each man will say to his son, may God make you like Ephraim and like Manasseh. Elohim ki Ephraim v'Manasseh. Okay. And he put Ephraim in his blessing before Manasseh, in order to put Ephraim ahead of Manasseh in the standards and in the inauguration of the princes. This is later on when the Mishkan is inaugurated. And I have given you. Oh, wait a minute, I jumped ahead. That's verse 20. Okay, so the further commentary on this one says that the Rashi constantly explains blessing by or through when it appears in Scripture as meaning using someone as an example for a blessing. See, for example, Rashi in 12:3 and 26:4 above. And 5, and each man will say to his son, referring to that, the further commentary says it does not refer to something that Israel as a nation will say, as might be understood from the beginning of the verse. The text of the blessing, may God make you, uses the singular form you, which indicates that the blessing is being addressed to a specific person. Saying thus means that the individual will bless his son in this manner. Okay, and he put Ephraim in the blessing. The further commentary says putting is not used here as in a physical sense. Yaakov did not put Ephraim in a location in front of Menashe. Okay. As it regards, in order to put Ephraim ahead of Menashe in the standards, the further commentary says the arrangement of the tribes by their standards when they encamped in the desert, the tribe of Menashe encamped under the standard of the tribe of Ephraim. And at the inauguration of the princes, the further commentary says, according to Bereshit Rabbah 97.5, the reference to the offerings brought by the princes of the various tribes at the inauguration of the Mishkan, the tabernacle, the prince of the tribe of Ephraim brought his offering before the prince of the tribe of Menashe. And that's called out in Numbers, chapter 7, 48 through 54. Okay. Getting ahead of myself here. Okay, so we move on to no commentary on 21. So we'll go from 21 to 22. Then Yisrael said to Yosef, behold, I am about to die. God will be with you and will bring you back to the land of your fathers. Verse 22, which is kind of odd that he doesn't actually have anything to say on this. I find it a little strange here. It's got to be a shock to, I guess Yosef does already know. He's been told that his father is going to die. And this goes to a point. I was listening to a shiur the other day, actually a couple of weeks ago. Actually, a few weeks ago now. It was either Rabbi Ginsburg or it was Rabbi Friedman. I can't remember exactly, but talking about this, that I am about to die. Saying he knows he's about to die, and I think in the shiur it was saying that just as when the soul comes into the body, that it takes when it inhabits the met in the mother's womb, that it takes 40 days for that soul to completely transition into that body. Okay, and it said also when a person is going to die, they also know, the soul knows that it's about to leave. So the person actually knows that they are going to pass away, unless it's in an accident or in a sudden death kind of situation. The body actually, or the soul actually knows 40 days in advance of death, so that it can transition out of the met and back to return to the goof, or actually up to the heavenly Beit Din, and then the goof after that. Okay, so Yaakov's saying, I'm about to die here, kind of, it kind of makes sense. It is prophetic, but it's not prophetic. My own grandmother, my own aunt, knew when their time was coming. And they actually said it. They actually said, I'm going to die. Kind of matter of fact. And I'm sure everybody out there probably has an example of that too. Okay, so we know that he's in that 40-day period. His soul is transitioning out of his body, or making preparations to transition out of his body. Okay, so where are we? 22. And I have given you Shechem, one portion more than your brothers, which I took from the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. Rashi goes on to say, and I have given you because you are going to the trouble of involving yourself with my burial. I too have given you a heritage in which you will be buried. And which is this? This is Shechem. As it says, and the bones of Yosef, which the children of Israel brought from Mitzrayim, they buried in Shechem. Rashi goes on to say Shechem, one portion more than your brothers. Shechem in its literal sense. It shall be for you one portion more than your brothers. By my sword and my bow, when Shimon and Levi killed the people of Shechem, all those around them gathered together to engage them in battle. And Yaakov girded himself with weapons of war to fight against them. Alternatively, the term Shechem Achad refers to the birthright of the firstborn, that Yosef's son should take two portions, and according to this explanation, Shechem means portion, as Targum Onkelos renders it. There are many instances of Shechem similar to it in Scripture. For example, literally, for you will put them as a portion, which means you will put my enemies before me to apportion them. I will divide a portion. On the road, they will murder a portion, where in context means each one will murder his portion, i.e. each bandit will pick his victim to worship him as one portion. I actually got a lot to say on this one. Which I took from the hands of the Amorite, from the hand of Esau, who did the act of an Amorite. Alternatively, Esau is called an Amorite because he would ensnare his father with the sayings of his mouth. And finally, with Rashi's commentary, with my sword and with my bow, this means my wisdom and my prayer. Okay, so a lot of further commentary on this. Let's go back here to where we started, 22. Okay, so yeah, nothing there. Okay, so with they buried in Shechem, the further commentary says from Yehoshua 24:32, and I will give you, links Yaakov's statement to that which precedes it, yet no connection is apparent. Rashi's explanation, however, is linked to Yosef's agreement to tend to Yaakov's burial. Okay. With its Shechem in its literal sense, that is, Shechem is used here as a proper noun, the name of a city. Still talking about Shechem. Okay. Okay, it shall be for you one portion. The further commentary says the names of cities are feminine. The masculine, Chad, of our verse thus cannot apply to Shechem. It applies to the implicit word Halech, portion. Okay, I'll take your word for that. With regards to a portion more than your brothers, Bereshit Rabbah, by adding the word Ve'terah, Rashi indicates that al is used in the verse in the sense of more than, not in the sense of because of. Because of what your brothers did to you in Shechem. Okay, moving on with regards to, and Yaakov girded himself with weapons of war to fight against them. Bereshit Rabbah, 80:10, although 35:15 above says that the Canaanites in the vicinity of Shechem did not rise up against Yaakov immediately after Shimon and Levi killed the people of the city. Rashi here follows the Midrash, which says that they did so 7 years. 7 years after the incident. It was on that occasion that Yaakov defended his family with his sword and bow. Alternatively, when 35:15 says that the Canaanites did not pursue Yaakov's sons because there fell a godly terror on them, it means that they were terrified by the sight of Yaakov girded with weapons of war. Okay, I made my point on this already. Okay. With regard that, and Yaakov's, Joseph's sons should take 2 portions. Just refers back to Rashi or from Bereshit Rabbah 97:6. Yeah, this next comment it just has to do with the Reggio de Calibre edition, and so on. So let's move on here. Which he took from the hands of the Amorite, from the hand of Esav. The further commentary says Yaakov acquired Joseph's extra portion from Esav, for Esav rejected his share in the land of Israel as a result of his rejection of the birthright. And where it regards, because he would ensnare his father with the sayings of his mouth. From Bereshit Rabbah 97:6, he acted like the Amorite, the most sinful Canaanite nation. Okay, speaking of Esav. Okay. So, with the sayings of his mouth, see Rashi in 25:28 above. According to this interpretation, Ha'emori shares the root Aleph Men Resh to say the Imre, to say with Imre. Both interpretations of the comment understood Shechem as portion, birthright of the firstborn. Okay. Well, we have reached about our halfway point, so we're going to take a break here because that is the end of chapter 48, and when we return, we will go into the last chapter, 49, of the, this is the last chapter, isn't it? Maybe I should check before I start spouting off like that. Okay, let's back up here. Oh, I'm sorry. We have, there's one more chapter after this. So 49, second to the last chapter of the Sefer Bereshit. So we will take our 6-minute break, and when we return, we will pick up with chapter 49. Please stay tuned, and we will be right back.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
It's intermission time, folks, so hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof. Enjoy breathtaking, mouth-watering goodies, everything from a snack to a delicious full meal. At our refreshment center, you'll find a large variety of goodies to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, or your sweet tooth. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Visit our refreshment center now. The show starts in 5 minutes. The show starts in 4 minutes. The show starts in 3 minutes. show starts in 2 minutes. The show starts in 1 minute. And now, on with the show.
And we are back. Okay. And again, before we start again, this week we are featuring Rabbi Moshe Steinerman's I Love Torah series, the book Kavanos Halev, Meditations of the Heart. Again, you can get that on Amazon. You can get it at cost, which is only $7, and or you can get it on the for the Kindle for 99 cents. So a real bargain, considering what you're getting in these books. This is a tremendous bargain. Okay. So we are going to start. Memtat, chapter 49, verse 1. Then Yaakov called for his sons and said, "Assemble yourselves, and I will tell you what will befall you in the end of days." Again, we talked about this, that while most of in fact, all of the patriarchs and the matriarchs could prophesy. But we see kind of specifically at the end of their days that they know what's going to happen in all of Jewish history. They know everything. We see this with Moshe Rabbeinu, and we see it here with Yaakov, that he's going to tell them what's going to happen. And I'm sure Rashi's going to talk about this, but God's going to stop him from doing that. So, Rashi goes on to say on this one, "I will tell you, he wished to reveal the end to them, but the Shekinah, the imminent presence of God, departed from him, and he began to say other things." Okay? So it was intentional. God actually intended to take it away. He didn't want them to know, yes, it was fine for Yaakov to know this, but he didn't want him sharing it with them. Maybe because it would have colored what they did, or what Hashem did not want to know. Just the same as when Hashem took Moshe Rabbeinu and took Moshe Rabbeinu and showed him all of Eretz Israel. And the rabbis tell us that it wasn't just the land that he actually saw. He got to see all of Jewish history. So, the further commentary on this, well, let's see. Further commentary on this one says that quite a few things going on here. Okay, revealed to them the end. Shekinah. And Rashi actually says it here. He wished to reveal the end. The further commentary says the ultimate conclusion of all the exiles of the Jewish people. Okay, and he began to say other things. The further commentary says, Pesachim, folio 56a, Bereshit Rabbah 98:2. Yaakov says that he will tell his sons what will befall them in the end of days. But we do not find him saying anything that will happen in the end of days in this passage. This is because the Shekinah departed from him so that he would not make this revelation. Okay, so we go on. There's no commentary on verse 2, so we'll go from 2 to 3. Verse 2, gather yourselves and listen, O sons of Yaakov, and listen to Israel, your father. Verse 3, Reuven, you are my firstborn, my strength, and the first of my vigor. Greater by raising, and greater by might. Okay. So Rashi says on this, if I can actually turn the page back, Rashi says on this one, the first of my vigor. This is the first drop from Yaakov, for Yaakov had not seen, i.e. had not yet had a seminal emission during his lifetime before the conception of Reuven. The further commentary on, well, actually, let's go on with Rashi. My vigor, this means my strength, as it does in I have found myself strength, or from abundance of strength, or from and to the powerless. Greater in rising, or greater in raising. You were fit to be greater than your brothers by having the priesthood as indicated by the word sake, which is related to raising of palms. Okay? The heave offering and the wave offering, okay, which is placed on the palms. And greater by might, i.e., by having the kingship. The as Oz connotates in, and may he give might to his king, and what caused you to lose all these advantages over your brothers? Okay. Further commentary on this says that before the conception of Reuven, Bereshit Rabbah 98.4 Yevamot, folio 76a. The term Reshit or Reshit, first of my vigor, denotes the firstborn in general. Deuteronomy 21:17, since Yaakov had already referred to Reuven as my firstborn, the first of my vigor seems redundant. It implies that not only was Reuven the firstborn, but he was also conceived from Yaakov's first seminal emission. Okay. As it regards, this is my strength. Kohib. Okay. It does not mean my pain, as it did in 53:18. Okay. As it regards found myself strength. Oh, okay. These are just references back to other portions, Hosea, Isaiah, so on and so forth. Greater by raising. Okay. Greater by raising to be greater. The further commentary says it does not mean here that Reuven was actually greater, for Yaakov goes on to say, do not take more. Okay, so the next one is relating to the palms. Again, Tractate Ketubot, folio 24b and 25a. Raising of palms is another term for the priestly blessing, which is delivered by raising hands. The text follows the Regio de Calibre and the Alphabet's editions, which does not begin a new comment here. Most contemporary editions follow the Rome edition, which begins a new comment with the word Beter Az. Okay. See if there's anything else that we want. Yeah, okay. The kingship is going to. Oh, okay. And may he give might to his king. The further commentary on that one says that in 1 Samuel 2:10, the word Az is usually used in scriptures as a form of the adjective. As a form of the adjective Az, mighty, when used at the end of a verb or before grammatical pause, as in verse 7 below, or B, as the form of the noun Oz, might, in the construct form, as Isaiah 26:1. Here, however, Rashi understands Oz as identical with Oz, even though it is at the end of the verse and not in the construct form, which I'm sure you are all glad to find that out. Okay, and what will cause you to lose all its advantages over your brother? Further commentary says that this question is Rashi's lead-in to the next verse. So let's go on to the next verse. The next verse, verse 4, haste like water. Do not take more, because you mounted your father's bed, and you desecrated him who ascended my couch. Excuse me. Rashi has a lot to say on such a short verse here. Haste like water. The haste and the confusion with which you hurried to show your anger, like these waters which hurry in their flow. Therefore, do not take more. Do not take on a grand scale all of these added advantages which had been fit for you, and what is the haste by which you acted hastily, because you mounted your father's bed, then you desecrated the one who had ascended upon my couch, the Shekhinah, whose custom it was to ascend over my couch. Haste. The word Pachaz in a noun, Yeah, okay. I don't know, for some reason I got off on another track here. Haste, the word pahaz is a noun. Therefore, its ascent is above on the penultimate syllable. Okay. And it is vowelized with the patach exclusively. Had it been a verb in the past tense, it would have been vowelized half with a kamatz and half with a patach. Pahaz. And its accent would have been below on the last syllable. Pahaz. Instead of pahaz. Okay, my couch. This means something which is used to lie on. It is called Yizua. Because they spread it with felt covers and sheets. There are many words similar to it in the scripture. For example, when I remember you upon my couch, and in if I ascend my couch, the couch of my bed, and so on. Okay, going to the further commentary here. Raising of the palms, we already did that. So, and that has to do with that. Okay, well, we're going to skip over to here. Okay. Okay, a lot of grammar and stuff in here. So we're going to just skip that. Okay, so we're going to go on to verse 5 now. Shimon and Levi are brothers. Stolen tools are their weapons. It's interesting. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 words. 6 words. And Rashi has a lot to say about 6 words. Okay, Shimon and Levi are brothers. They were of one mind regarding Shechem and regarding Yosef. When the brothers saw Yosef approaching, the verse states, and they said to one another, so now come, let us kill him. Who are they who said? If you would say Reuven and Yehudah, this cannot be for see now they did not agree to Yosef being killed. If you would say the sons of the maidservants Bilhah and Zilpah, this too cannot be so, for see, their hatred of Yosef was not total. Remember, Yosef actually kind of hung out with them, and he didn't like the fact that his brothers, the sons of Leah, would basically treat the sons of Bilhah and Zilpah as servants. So he kind of hung out with them. So they didn't hate him completely. And it says, he was a youth with the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah. Issachar and Zebulun would not have spoken, i.e. would not have proposed a course of action in the presence of their brothers, who were older than them. You are forced to say that the ones who said, come, let us kill him, were Shimon and Levi. They are the ones whom their father called brothers. Stolen tools. This craft of murder is in their possession by theft. It is from the blessing of Esau. Yaakov admonished them, this is his craft, and you robbed him of it. Their weapons, this means arms. A sword in the Greek language is a machareia. Machareia? I'm not an old Greek, so I don't know. Alternatively, Mechoratehem means in the land of their sojourns they conducted themselves with tools of violence. Our word is similar to Mechorotayech, in the land of your sojourns and your birthplace. This is Onkelos' translation of the word. Okay. All that for, what did I say, 6 words? 6 words? Okay. Okay, so, with regard to, Shimon and Levi were of one mind. The further commentary says Shimon and Levi were no more brothers to each other than they were to the other sons of Yaakov. Yaakov called them brothers in that they acted in concert. Okay. Let's see. This one has to do with Reuven. Shechem. Okay, so this one has to do with Reuven and Yehuda. Cannot be because they did not agree. Reuven wanted to rescue Yosef, and Yehuda suggested that they sell him rather than kill him. So in other words, they weren't of one mind. Okay, so it couldn't have been them because they didn't agree. Moving on, the next one is 11. Zebulun. Okay. This is in regards to Yisachar and Zebulun in the presence of their brothers who were older than them. Rashi, the further commentary says, Rashi suggested Yehuda as a possibility, although he was younger than Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, because he was the acknowledged leader of the brothers. Rashi suggested the sons of the maidservants, although they were younger than some of the sons of Leah, for they would not be expected to treat their paternal brothers with the same degree of respect with which a younger brother treats an older full brother. Shimon and Levi spoke up in the presence of the one brother who was older than they, only because they spoke together. Yisachar and Zebulun would not have done even this, for there were 4 brothers older than either of them. Okay. Okay, so where it regards, let's see where we at here. Okay, in the land of the land of their sojourns, letters formed by the same organ of speech are interchangeable with one another. The letters are both palatals and are therefore interchangeable. Yeah, okay, this is going to go into all kinds of construct. Okay. One who lives by violence generally goes far off to kill and plunder, but lives in peace with his neighbors. Not so Shimon and Levi. They acted with violence in the land of their sojourns. Okay. And as it regards, here somewhere, with tools of violence. The term is understood as weapons and cannot be understood as tools of violence, for tools of violence are their weapons, would be stating the obvious. Therefore, Rashi explains that it is as stolen tools, interpreting the term, the land of their sojourns allows the term to be understood in its more obvious sense as tools of violence. Okay. So we move on to verse 6. Still speaking of Shimon and Levi, into their design may my soul not enter. With their congregation do not unite. O my honor, for their rage they killed a man, and in their wish they hamstrung an ox. Okay. Into their design may my soul not enter. This refers to the incident of Zimri, when the tribe of Shimon gathered together conspiratorially to bring the Midianite woman before Moshe, and they said to him, "It is this one forbidden to take as a wife by a Jew, or permitted? If you will say that she is forbidden, who permitted you to marry the daughter of Yitro?" Which parsha we are going to read this week. Let my name not be mentioned regarding that matter. Zimri, son of Salum, leader of a father's house of the Shimonite, and did not write son of Yaakov. With their congregation, when Korah, who is of the tribe of Levi, will congregate the entire assembly against Moshe and Aharon. Do not unite, O my honor. There, let my name not be united with them, as it says, Korah, son of Yishar, son of Kohat, son of Levi. But it does not say son of Yaakov. In giving, but in Chronicles, when the lineage of the sons of Korah are given regarding the platform, it says, son of Korah, son of Yishar, son of Kohath, son of Levi, son of Israel. Now you have to remember that not all of the Kohath followed Korah. We have perfect examples of that. Some of the prayers that we say were composed by the Kohath. Some of these psalms were written by the Kohath. So therefore, in the Chronicles, it lists out their whole name. Okay, do not unite, O my honor. The word kavod, honor, is masculine. Va'al karcham, so of necessity, you must explain the words of Yaakov as directly addressing the honor and saying, you, my honor, do not unite yourselves with them. The word techad, is used here as it is used, and you will not unite with them in burial. Okay. Okay, so the further commentary on this one, the word techad, in its future form, the root and can be either the second person masculine or the third person feminine. Rashi notes that the verse cannot be used using it as a third person. May my honor not unite, for its subject is the masculine. The plural phrase and so on and so forth. Here we go. We're going to get a whole sentence structure lesson again. For in their rage they killed a man. These are the Hamor and the people of Shechem. Hamor, it's donkey. Okay. All of them are considered as nothing but a single man, for they were no match for Shimon and Levi. Similarly, it says Gideon, and you shall smite Midian as a single man. Similarly, about Mitzrayim, it says a horse and its rider he heaved into the sea. This is exegetical interpretation. Okay, but its simple meaning is as follows. Many men are called a man, each one being viewed individually. In their rage, they killed every man at whom they were angry. Similarly, and he learned to maul pray. And he learned to maul prey. He would eat a man. And in their wish they hamstrung an ox. They wished to eliminate Yosef, who is called an ox. As it says, the chief of his ox glory is his. The word ikru is, Old French. It's jareter in Old French, right? Oh, Old French, yeah. Rashi being an old Frenchman. Okay. Is related to the Aker in you shall hamstring their horses. Okay. According to the simple meaning, does not refer directly to a specific Okay, so in the verse does not mean by their will they eliminated an ox, for they did not actually eliminate Yosef. They eliminated him only in their wish. Because remember, they wanted to kill him. Okay. So, with regards to the Old French, the word geret is both Old and Modern French, thus meaning the hamstring, the tendon at the back of the leg. The prefix S serves as the negation of the function of the word in which it is affixed. Thus, the verb es gerater means to hamstring, i.e., to disable the hamstring tendon. Okay, so now we're not just getting grammar in Hebrew, we're getting grammar in Old French and Modern French too. Okay. With regards to, you shall hamstring their horses. Yehoshua 11:6. Shur can mean wall, as Rashi interprets shur of verse 22 below. Had he understood it in that sense of our verse, Yikru, would have been interpreted as uprooted. By their wish, they uprooted a wall, and an example of their strength. Now that Rashi has interpreted shor of our verse as ox, he explains Ikru as hamstrung, and cites a verse from Yehoshua to show that the word is used that way elsewhere. Okay. So we're on to nothing, because our time is just about up. Okay, so we will pick up when we return next week with Yehuda. Seriously? I'm looking for verse 7 in here. There's 6. Oh, there is 7. Okay. So we will pick up with 7 when we return. Or mark that so I know exactly where we are at. Okay. So, since we've completed Barakat Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayo olam natan b'tocheinu Barakat Adonai noten haTorah. Okay, thank you everybody for being here this evening. I hope you enjoyed the study. Don't forget, Friday night is Kabbalat and Ma'ariv Shabbat service at 8 p.m. and then Shachrit and Musaf at 10 a.m. all times Eastern on Shabbat morning. And don't forget, Zeta Story Corner on Mondays at 8 p.m. Thank you all for being here, and until the next time, we will say Laila Tov.